In this video, we're going to see how to create a table in Oracle that enforces the not null constraint. And so our background here is our same family counseling practice that we've used in other examples. Here we're going to be managing client data, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a client table. So here we've got a client ID, which will be the unique identifier. It's marked as the primary key. A first name, a last name, and a phone number. Let's get some test data in there so we can take a look at it. And let's take a look at that data. So here we've got 5 clients: Ashley, Sandra, Clive, Abby, and Jean. First name, last name, they almost all have phone numbers. You'll notice that here for Abby, we specified that she had no phone number by using the keyword null in the column that would normally produce the value for the phone number. And so what we'd like to do is we would like to put a constraint on this table that says, listen, if we're going to have a record of a client, we need to know the first name and the last name. We may or may not know their phone number, that's okay, but until we know their first name and last name, we can't enter them into the database. We're going to require that a value be supplied for the first name and the last name in order for a record to exist in the database. And so at this point, let's just try to insert a record that has no value for the last name column. Because the table is currently unconstrained, there's nothing to prevent that record from coming into the table. So here we have Jennifer. We got a phone number. We don't have a last name for her. So let's see how to create this table a different way that includes the not null constraint. So we'll drop that table. Let's create it again. We'll get started in the same way, but when we get to the column that we want to constrain, in this case the first name, we're just going to say, after we've put the data type, we're just going to say not null. And for any column that we want to specify not null, we just do it in the same manner. And the rest of the create table statement will go just as it has in the past. And so by putting the not null constraint here, we are not going to allow the first name or last name columns to be null. We'll not be able to add a record unless values are supplied for that. You may notice that we already have a primary key constraint on our client ID column. The primary key constraint will also enforce not null. All right, well, let's go ahead and create that table. Let's put our test data back in and take a look at it. All right, so now I'd like to try to insert that same record that has no last name specified for the client. Now that we've put the not null constraint onto this table, we expect Oracle to reject this record, and it does, giving us this message: cannot insert null into the client last name column. So we'll see, what if we do supply it? Yeah, if we supply all the values, no problem. The record goes in just fine. You'll also notice that it's not limited just to inserting data, but also the constraint will work on updating data as well. So here I'm going to use an update statement. I'm going to try to set the last name value to null for a particular client, number 105. Here we'll see again that that update is rejected because of that not null constraint. And if we look at the data, we'll see that Jennifer is still there without having had her last name removed. And that's how the not null constraint is implemented in Oracle.